So for this week's lesson, you're going to have a go at a squaring up task. It's something you did in year 7. This is a reminder. I've already done the grids for you. So we're just going to get going and get started straight away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch out the shape of the face first. So I'm just flattening my paper and I'm going to draw one side of the face just to show you how to do it, and then we'll speed it up. So I'm going to be looking in the first top rectangle, and I'm just looking at the shape and the distance between the edge of the paper and the side of the head. So I'm trying to check that I'm just going to draw this same the way that the line comes in. I'm in the same rectangle on the piece of paper. I'm just drawing the edge of the ear and the way it comes down. Just go over that a bit darker so you can see it. And then I'm going to come in to where that ear slopes into the next box. And then we've just got the bit of the earring. And I'm just checking now, I'm just going to draw this little bit of the cheek on the bottom right hand section. There's a little triangle that the cheek makes in that box, you'll see, with a curve. I'm just going to draw that same shape, and that's going to allow me then to join up the bit with the earring, so I know then that I've got it all in the right place. So you'll notice that I'm not drawing any detail yet. It's not started to draw any of the facial features. All I'm doing is sketching the outside just to make sure I get it in the right place. And I've speeded this bit up so you don't want to see me doing the whole thing again. So we'll slow it back down again when we get to the facial features. Okay, and the hairline. So the next thing is just sketching in using the same method of checking to see that I'm drawing the right thing in the right rectangle. I'm just trying to draw those details of the hair in as carefully as possible. So I'm just going to sketch in some little details on the side. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So the next thing we're going to do is use the ruler to just measure the middle line of the mouth. So I'm just going to roughly measure where the mouth is situated and sketch in that middle line. So you see that I'm trying to sketch that in. I've noticed that the mouth is wider than I've drawn it, so I'm actually going to draw that a bit wider. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, so next what I need to do is sketch the nostril. So again, I'm checking, I'm just drawing the shapes that I can see and making sure it's in the right place. Now I'm looking to see where the eye is, trying to measure and get it in exactly the right place. And sketch that out as carefully as I can. So I'm getting the eye, and I've got the outline of the eye in the right place now. Putting the pupil in, putting the side of the face in, and now I'm putting the shadow in. All the time what I'm doing is I'm checking to see that what I'm drawing is in the right box and it's all in the right place, which is why we draw the outline of the face in first of all. Okay, so now I'm going to start thinking about my shading. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the eyes. I'm going to try and match the tones I can see. If you look at your picture, you'll see that the eyes are the darkest bit apart from the hair, so you really want to press as hard as you can. Just here I'm just making sure that the eyes are accurately sketched out. Okay, so I'm looking at the inside the eyes. You'll see that there is a highlight and there's a grey lighter area. So I'm going to match those tones, and where it's black I'm going to press as hard as I can. Really darkening up the eyes to get those eyelashes really realistic looking. So when you're adding shading to your picture, if you remember what we said last year in terms of shading on your portraits, when you are trying to create a shadow, you're going to go round and round with your pencil, the side of your pencil, to create a flat tone. Here I'm just doing the eyebrows, pressing as hard as I can, but I'm going to move on to the shading, and I'm moving around and around with the pencil to create a nice flat area of tone, so it's not scribbly, because obviously it's skin. So I'm just looking at the picture and I'm trying to match the tones that I see. So on the shadow on her face, I'm going to create this sort of like a lightish grey tone. And I want it to be smooth, so I'm not pressing too hard, but I'm repeatedly going around and around with my pencil. I'm going to darken up the nostrils so I can see them a bit more clearly. And then I'm going to move on to the mouth. The mouth is a darker tone of grey than the skin, and the inside of the mouth you'll see that there's a black line, so you need to press as hard as you can there. But I'm going to leave the lighter areas, which are the highlights, on the mouth. So your task this week is to use this squaring up method and to try to get as accurate a drawing as you can. Try to get the shading done. If you can get to that bit, I'm only going to do half of the face because I don't want to take up too much time, but if you want to have a go and do the whole thing, then that's great. This is a task that we did last year when we did the faces, the self-portraits, so it's something we're just revisiting for next week's lesson, when you will be drawing your own celebrity picture and you'll be using this technique. So this is a little practice for you this week to have a go and just to remind you of the technique you'll be using. So give it a good go. Don't forget to draw lightly, to shade lightly, and to try to match the tones so you get an accurate representation of the Audrey Hepburn picture.